you're a buyer in this real estate market here in Bend or somewhere else in Central Oregon, you already know that right now is a great opportunity to purchase real estate. If those that are sitting on the sideline, which is the masses, they're sitting there waiting and watching, or maybe not even paying attention, they're going to be the ones that really have to pay extra for a home when that time comes, when rates do come down substantially lower. Now, when that day comes, we don't know, but when it does, it's going to be one of those situations where a frenzy occurs again and prices are just simply forced up. Sellers are going to be happy again. There's not very many happy sellers right now. They're frustrated, they're exhausted, they're losing their patience, and they're frankly taking price cuts that they otherwise wouldn't have considered, say, 3 years ago. And that is where the buyers in the market today are taking full advantage. They know that rates are coming down. They're grinding down slowly but surely. They're not coming down abruptly like they did go up abruptly just a couple of years ago, say from 2.5% all the way up to 8% in maybe a year and a half's time span. That was absolutely ridiculous, designed to just flip the entire real estate market on its head, which it did. Now it's more of a methodical grind down, just ease slowly but surely. It's coming down. Spending power is going up as a result of that. But what else is going on for those buyers that are paying attention right now is that prices of homes are coming down to coincide with the fact that interest rates are coming down along with it. Very interesting things are happening for those that are looking to make a purchase. And that's where the deals are because the sellers are getting exhausted. They're getting fed up. They're losing their patience and they're now taking or at least considering prices that they otherwise never would have considered, say, 2 years ago or 3 years ago, because they still have to sell, but also the market is sort of resetting. And that is what is interesting. Are we going to continue to chop down further? Who knows? But the reality is that if you wait forever, it's going to reverse and it's going to go back the other way at some point in time. Now, today's video is going to be exploring the most recent data as it pertains to Bend and Redmond and the rest of Central Oregon because we did get our month data sheet that was just released today. And there are some interesting things that we want to look at because this type of video really gives you a firm grasp on where the state of the market is. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to start with Ben. Hey, if you guys are getting ready to jump into the market in some capacity, whether you're buying, whether you're selling, whether you're doing a combination of the two in the near future here in Central Oregon, and you don't have a realtor lined up yet, please reach out to me. We would love to be the ones that help you with that transaction. But it starts with you guys calling us or texting us. You can see the phone number right there. It's all across the channel as well. Give us a call or shoot us a text. We'll get that initial conversation on the calendar so then we can figure out what the next course of action should be pertaining to your real estate transaction. Thank you guys for watching these videos. And now on to today's content. So we've got our Beacon report dated for November. It's the most recent issue of this publication. It is a fantastic resource. It is open to the public. You guys can just go look it up on a Google search bar if you wanted to. Type in Beacon Appraisal Central Oregon, and it will pop up. But what we have here is our most recent slate of local real estate data. And this is all based off of single-family home sales. But the first one that most people are really interested in is going to be the median home price. And how does that apply to my house, right? I mean, that's what people want to know. But we look at this number here, 778, and that is the current median home price in Bend. That'll probably make news on our local news outlets here in the next couple of days. But going from 713 to 778, it's not a huge deal. I mean, it's going to fluctuate back and forth month to month. We probably had like just some big sale, $6 million home or $9 million home, something like that, that sold that drove up the price. But ultimately speaking, 778 is not uncommon. As you can see, we've had several months where we were over 800 or at least teetering on 800 in that range. But this is one of the highest median home prices Bend has ever experienced. And it's getting closer and closer to where, the new baseline might be $800,000 for a median home price here in the next couple of years. Whereas before, going back 3 or 4 years, the baseline was like 500,000 or 550. Now that's Redmond. And that's what's interesting as, we just continue to go on. Prices are getting more and more stable at the $700,000 level or above. And I don't think that's going to slow down anytime soon, even though the current state of the market, the narrative suggests that it's frozen and just stuff isn't happening. Well, that's just not true. I mean, there's always activity going on. There's always people that need to transact real estate, and that's never not going to happen. But if we look at the next one down, this is our number of sales. And I just did this video a couple days ago, how the market is frozen in terms of its transactional volume. If you look at the last 36 months, and that's what this is right here, this is a 36-month chart we had roughly 4,500 or so transactions occur. If we started the next 3 years back, going back from October 2022 to 2019, we would have had 7,500 or so transactions of the exact same kind of metrics that we're looking at. And so that's how monumental like the slow down period really was. It doesn't seem like that all the time here in Bend because our median home price generally stays pretty strong. There's just people moving here from out of the area that have a higher cost of living in those respective markets. And so when they do arrive, they think they're getting a deal, and they are. They're getting the Bend lifestyle and the Central Oregon lifestyle at a bargain compared to where they were in California or in Seattle or wherever it was. But that's kind of the driving force as to why prices remain strong, even though our sales volume goes down, and it's gone down almost 50%. It's pretty wild. But these two metrics are very, very, they just complement each other. But if we look at the next one, our median days on market, this is where it gets kind of interesting, right? We went from, say, the summertime in the spring, 2020, in the 20s, all the way up to a shooting number of 66 days. Actually, the highest days on market in the last 3 years, now that you look at it. And that is kind of an interesting number, to say the very least, now that I'm just kind of assessing it for the first time. Will that continue? The market is frozen, right? That's the narrative. There's a lot of inventory on the market right now, and we're going to look at that data sheet here in just a second. But that is what is interesting as we go into the slowest part of the year. Traditionally, every year, right? Seasonality applies to real estate transactions, and it certainly will with November, December, January, and February. But 66 days, will we see even more of an uptick when it comes to median days on market as we go into November and December? I'm going to be very curious to see that. If we scroll down to look at inventory, that's another very important component to what's going on in the state of the market. We've had a high volume of inventory now for several months, all 7 months of 3.5% or higher. This is the first month ticking below 4 months since back in March. But if you look at the sheet this way, what you're going to notice here, this was the theme for basically the last 3 years, 2 months or less. And we had a period of time, probably 12 to 18 months somewhere, where we had less than a month of inventory for just a straight line of 12 months. And it was pretty remarkable knowing that there was nothing available. And that's why prices were shooting up so aggressively. But now it's just the opposite, and prices are coming down and they're adjusting. But the buyers that are in the market, they're the ones that get it. They're the ones taking advantage of the opportunity that's presenting itself right now, because the sellers are the ones losing their patience. Now, if we go over to Redmond, similar theme. Redmond has been so steady at 500,000 or above for a while. It's just the new baseline. So just 4 years ago, 5 years ago, this chart here would have been like basically what Bend is. This is like the exact chart that Bend replicated 4 or 5 years ago, right before the COVID boom. And now it's Redmond. That's what's crazy about the market. I'll show you what, say, before the COVID boom in Redmond looked like for median home price values. But this is like the baseline, 500,000 or above. And I think that is very interesting as we continue progressing forward. And Redmond is booming just like Bend is. There's plenty of people that are opting to choose Redmond over Bend, not just because of its affordability aspect, but mostly because of what the amenities are, the pace of life, the lifestyle, the vibe, and the culture of the town versus Bend, because they are different from each other. They're not just, two of the same towns, just one's bigger than the other. They have two different distinctive personalities. And those that are relocating here, they will learn very quickly which one is the right fit for them. Number of sales, 51 sales. Redmond's a town of about 40,000. Bend's about 110,000. So substantially less in terms of single family homes that are selling every month, but still a pretty good number there, especially going into, say, the slowest period of the year traditionally. If we continue on, we're looking at days on market now, and this is the polar opposite of Bend. 47 2 months ago to 24 now, our most previous month. And if Ben's over 60 and Redmond's at 24, there must be something that is indicative of that. And it usually is the inventory. Redmond's inventory has not really been that high over the last several months. And as you can see, we did have some threes back in 2023, 3 months, and we had 1 month of 4 months of inventory. But generally speaking, we're talking 2 months of inventory for the majority of the last year or so. And that is, a testament to Redmond. It's an in-demand town. That is why the prices remain very solid because there's not a lot to choose from. But that is kind of the reason behind why Redmond remains such a solid place to park your money when it comes to purchasing a home. And the values remain intact, but you're also getting great homes and great value. So as we continue and get ready to conclude this video, we're going to scroll down into the smaller portions, smaller towns of Central Oregon. And what we have here is Sisters, charming little town, but tiny, right? I mean, we had 4 transactions last month, and the median home price is 657,000. 28 days on market with 6 months of inventory. There's a lot of homes to choose from over there. Sunriver is the same way. It's more of a resort style vacation town, and a lot of short-term rentals are over there. 830,000 with 14 sales and 99 days on market. There are a lot of homes for sale in tiny Sunriver, just like Sisters and just like the other towns here that are listed. But that's what's interesting as a buyer. Okay, the sellers are really feeling the pain if they're in that town. But I want to make that note right now. If you are curious about these towns as a buyer, yes, there's value for you. But what about when you want to sell someday? Are you going to have to go through the same amount of pain that these sellers are currently having to endure? If you look at Lapine, okay, we're looking at $395,000 for a median home price, but 7 units sold last month with 7 months of inventory. Um, it can be kind of frustrating. It's one of those things. You always want to be thinking about the end game before you sign up for the house. When are you going to sell it? How's it going to be to sell? And that's something that a lot of people do not consider when they're in that emotional moment trying to make that purchase. Jefferson County is Madras and 361,000 for a median, 20 sales, 42 days on market, 5 months inventory. Madras has about 10,000 people. And then if we look at Crook County, which is Prineville, a very charming town in its own right, 424,000, 26 sales, 66 days on market, and 6 months of inventory. So all things that need to be considered before you make a purchase here in the Central Oregon area. If you are Bend, that's what we specialize in. Give us a call and reach out to us and just kind of get that conversation going. There are different flavors of Bend each and every direction you go. You have a median home price on the west side over 1 million. You've got a median home price over on the east side somewhere in the 550 to 650 range. And so there's value to be had every which way you go, but you have to figure out what it is that you are looking for because Bend has different subtypes. And we like to help everybody that's choosing Bend or Redmond or anywhere else in Central Oregon, frankly. But that is what is happening right now in the market. And will we see some sort of monumental shift or where, the pendulum swings in the other direction? I do think that we went from an extreme seller's market to more of a buyer's market, not extreme, but now the pendulum could be swinging back to a more balanced market as we get kind of further into, say, the current state of the market as rates come down, as sellers feel more confident selling their home, because when rates come down, that means more buyers will come into the market, which will give sellers more confidence to list their home. If it all kind of ties together, but hopefully a video like this does make sense and has helped you in some capacity. My name is Ryan. I'm a licensed broker with eXp Realty. When it's your time to reach out, please do so. You can call us or text us and get the conversation started in that regard. Thanks for watching, and we will see you on the next one.